I'm Erik Schumacher Rasmussen. I'm the chair of Streaming Media Conferences and the CMO for Ideas, and I'm here at the 2022 Northern Waves Conference with John Espen from Allente, who just gave a shocking and thought-provoking presentation. John Espen, could you start by just talking a little bit about who you are, what Allente does, and then talk about the topic you presented on and why it's so important?
Thank you, Erik. It's really nice to be here together with you at Northern Waves. So, John Espen, I'm CTO of Allente. Allente is a Nordic operator and a result of the merger between Viasat Consumer and Canal Digital. So we operate across Finland, Sweden, Norway, and Denmark with DTH, satellite TV, IPTV, OTT in the market. I have approximately a little bit above 1 million subscribers.
Okay. And you just, as I said, gave a presentation about syncing the video pirate ship. It was about a 20-minute presentation, but maybe you could sum it up in about a minute, some of the key points and why it's so important.
Yeah, I think I made piracy as my ambition to something that I want to stop. Because it's funding illegal or criminal activities like human trafficking or drug dealing and so on and so forth. And it's been a period in time where the industry has been, I would say, putting their heads down in the ground and not following up on what's happening out in the market. And that have allowed piracy services to grow and become professionals with decentralized infrastructure and growing subscriber bases. So in sum, I think I told the audience that only in the Nordic space, the piracy service now have above 300,000 paying subscribers. That's
unbelievable. And like I said, I think I heard the entire room gasp when you shared some of these numbers about how piracy has increased in just the last 6 months. But if we look at, let's say, the last 3 years, because as we know, it's been an unprecedented time in the world, within the online video industry, how have things changed in the last 3 years when it comes to piracy?
I think when the pandemic hit, if we go back to 2020, everyone in the industry was talking about, oh, people are watching more TV and kind of our services are growing. We're seeing increased usage of news and documentaries and other entertainment content. Also with a shortfall of sports during longer periods during COVID. And the industry was really focused on kind of what happened with their own services in that instant. And no one was kind of looking at the external landscape and how piracy services have slowly built themselves up to having, there are just in the Nordics, 200-300 reseller sites of piracy services. It's crazy. It's kind of 20 times more than we are operators in the market.
Right, right. I mean, and I suppose it makes sense to some degree that with the incredible increase in content consumption, in legitimate content consumption, that's where everyone's attention was, right? But it does seem like maybe some in the industry took their eye off the ball a little bit in terms of piracy. Do you see this growth in piracy continuing in the near-term future? And can you talk a little bit about how the industry can come together to put an end to it?
I do definitely believe that we'll see a growth in piracy going forward. And there's a couple of reasons to that. And I think the good thing here is that the industry is about to wake up. I also on IBC, I heard more and more people talking about piracy as an increasing problem in the industry. But the economic situation and difficult times that we are entering into or are in the middle of right now will kind of put increased churn pressure on legal services due to higher prices than the piracy services, and people need to start prioritizing how they're spending the money. So if I can go on the internet and see, okay, I can choose between these two services. That service costs me 10 euros per month, and that service costs me 40 euros per month. Which one will I choose? I will choose 10 euro, because there I also get all the sports in the world. I get 5,000 streaming channels, and I get all the VOD content that I want to consume for any service in the world. So it's an easy choice for the customer, and the services are built so professional that it's difficult for the consumer to understand that this is actually a legal service. Mm-hmm. They have the piracy sites, they have customer service. They have 24/7 customer service. I don't have 24/7 customer service. They have campaigns, they have branding, they have advertisement, they have pricing and packaging models that are kind of attractive for the customer. That is, in the legal market, extremely difficult to create.
Right, and so the average customer who is just looking for streaming services will end up on one of those sites, and it looks completely legitimate to the customer, right?
Yeah. It's just going on Google and typing in IPTV service. Mm-hmm. You'll get, first hits you will get is probably an adverse ad placement from one of the pirate services. Then you get our advert placement, and then you get all the search hits below there.
Okay, lots more to be done. Lots more education to be done in the market. One more question, and I'd like to step away from the piracy topic a little bit right now. You know, we're here at Northern Waves, we're in Oslo, focusing on the Nordic market. How can Nordic services continue to compete with international services in the global OTT space?
Oh, that's a really good question, Eric. I think one benefit that we have in the local market is local content. Mm-hmm. And we know the consumers a little bit better, at least for the moment, than the global players do. So it's easier for us to see what kind of humor do they want, what kind of dramas do they really prefer, and also functioning well with the language of local production. I think there's a lot of really good local productions going on that still makes the local services highly competitive against the global services. Challenge might come when the global services kind of become and learn even better on understanding the smaller local markets. But that's when you maybe need to strike a balance on how you compete and how you become frenemies.
Sure, exactly. And of course, you know, the Nordics have a special experience with some of the international players in that, you know, Nordic noir was kind of one of the first regional genres to become popular internationally through Lilyhammer and Netflix. And so that's sort of, again, that frenemy or co-opetition seems to offer some promise, certainly. All right, well, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.